Adoption Warrior family. It is good to be back with you guys. I know we've missed a couple of weeks. There was the flu going around. A lot of us had the flu and were sick, but it is exciting. I'm so happy to be back, be able to come to you and do these podcasts. So today we're going to talk about adult adoption. And first, we're going to read this Bible verse as we always do. It's found in Jeremiah 29:11. And it is, "For I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord, to prosper and not harm you." So today we're going to talk, like I said, about adult adoption. It's an interesting adoption. As I was doing some research and some reading, I came across it and this is interesting. Let me see what it's about. And first of all, adult adoption, it is when somebody is adopted over the age of 18. And for some reason, I found it surprising that they actually get a birth certificate even though you get adopted over the age of 18. The birth certificate changes, the name can change and all that stuff, just like a normal adoption that would happen in your childhood. And we're going to go through the steps that you take to be adopted as an adult, the laws with it. And so as we walk through these things, we're going to give a small summary. And you say, why is it necessary or why would somebody be adopted as an adult? And there's so many different reasons that I've came across and that I've known of personal experience and I've heard about and spoke to other people about. One of them is about a bond. You know, people always joke with you and kid around with you, like, "Oh, I want to adopt you, as my son or daughter." You know, it could be a friend or something like that. But that actually is it's a real thing. People build bonds with somebody younger or with a younger friend or neighbor childhood or something like that, and they have that special bond, and they go ahead and do the adoption. You know, that probably varies for many reasons. It could be the parents are deceased, or they lost connection with their original parents, or whatever it is. That bond is there, and they go through with the adoption. The other one is reconnection with your biological family. And with that one, I'd be really careful with. Hey, I'm all for it. But there's certain steps of reconnection with your biological family to make sure the intentions are right, the right reasons are there. And this should go for any adoption, but I think that an adult adoption, the adult has a little bit more control over the adoption versus a child. Um, so I'll just make sure that, connecting with the biological family is great. Make sure the relationship is there, and that goes, for all adoptions. The next one is an adult dependent. Maybe that adult can't take care of themselves, health reasons, mental reasons, physical reasons. The adult just can't take care of them, and another adult needs to step in and adopt them, and so they have the legal rights and guardianship and stuff like that. The other one is for legal inheritance. Through the lawyer or inheritance family thing going on. That always will help and will make it easier and make the process faster. And the other one is sibling adoption, and that would go as far as like the siblings or your family parents were deceased, or they are in prison, or for some reason the absence of both parents. Sometimes, a lot of the times, older sibling will step in and play that role as a parent. They'll go in for a sibling adoption, so they'll have guardianship, and they can help their siblings go into schools and the different programs and stuff like that. So, and that's a big one. I'm always encouraged when I see a sibling adoption. That sibling steps up and plays a role of that parent. I'm sure both parties, the younger child and the older sibling that are involved in that, I'm sure there's a connection there, approval of both sides, and so I think that's a really blessing. A lot of people are, you hear and say, "Oh yeah, I was raised by my older brother and my older sister," and so I really appreciate those that have siblings that have stepped up, and taken that role on. I thank you for that, and I'm sure that child uh, appreciates that as well. And we're going to go through some of the laws that go for adult adoption. And some of the states require that person be 10 years and older of the person that you're adopting. I guess just it makes sense. For that person to be older, a few years older. Um, I would think it'd be maybe a little bit more than 10 years. But I guess as long as the maturity is there, um, and I guess that goes up for adoption, sibling adoption as well. They already know the child and stuff like that. But in some states, it is required to be 10 years and older to adopt that person or the other adult. The other one is a spouse consent, something that you and your spouse would need to talk about, um, or both ways that that I want to be adopted to this person or vice versa. So it's something that you need to talk about. You need to talk about it anyways with your spouse. You just don't want to come home one day and, hey, I got adopted today. That would be pretty hilarious, and that it's just a lot of communication to make sure that everybody's on the same page and understand that a legit reason why you should adopt another adult or why you are being adopted by another adult. Just to make sure everybody understands what's going on. The other law is make sure there's no sexual relationship between the person that you're adopting or vice versa. Just to make that a clean cut relationship or adoption. The other one is no criminal record, and that goes both ways to make sure that um, both people are the records are clean, no felonies and such, so forth. The other one is give notice to your birth parents. And that one may, be a challenge depending on your situation of why you're being adopted. Like we mentioned before, if the parent is deceased or is no longer in the picture or unable to make that decision per the reason you're being adopted as an adult. Um, so I'm sure there's a loophole or there's something there that will, give you some wiggle room around depending on your situation. But normally we talk about younger adoptions, foster adoptions, and stuff like that. So I still feel that the mental, the emotional state of mind is still just as relevant as a younger adoption. To make sure that we know why we're doing this, to make sure our hearts and minds are on the right, going the right way for the right reasons of why this adoption should occur. Something that is talked about thoroughly on both sides with a lawyer, your family, with each other. Sit down and really discuss and talk about this. What is this? What's the real reason here? And so, and also, it wouldn't hurt to do counseling between the adoption, who's adopting, and the adoptee. Do some counseling with it. Talk it out with each other, and just seek out as much advice and as much counsel as you can, whether it's legally, emotionally, family wise. Just really figure out if this is the right thing to do in the right path. But I hope today was an exciting topic for you, a different topic for you guys. If there's any comments or questions in there, please leave it in the comment box. But until next time, don't be a stranger to a child in need. Thank you. See you guys soon.